Greetings, seekers. Tonight, we're not going up, we're going down. This is what you might call an inverted journey, a peeling back of all the layers you think are you to find out what's actually true underneath. And our guide on this particular path? The figure of Mephistopheles.
So let's be really clear about Mephistopheles right from the start. We're not talking about some cartoon devil with a pitchfork. No. Think of him more like a necessary force of nature. That stinging grit you need for any real transformation to happen. He isn't here to steal your soul. He's here to show you the soul you've already kind of lost touch with. All right, so our journey begins, it begins right where you are now, in what our source material calls the Museum of Souls. Imagine a world built by this archetype, Wotan the architect. It's all about rigid structures, rules we live by, a world full of performative identities that feels safe, sure, but is ultimately stuck. And this gets us right to the heart of it, this idea of the not self. This is the identity you perform every single day. You know the one. It's the version of you that's been shaped by what society expects, by all these beliefs you've never really questioned. It's a mask you've worn for so long, you've started to think it's your real face. You know that certainty you feel in your not self? That sense of, I know who I am? That's actually a locked door. And to find what's truly real and authentic, we can't just knock politely. Nope. We have to descend. We have to go find the key that's hidden down in the shadows.
And so Act 1 begins. The descent is kicked off by this primal energy, a force that just shatters the structural glue of our polite, ordered world. It all starts with hunger. And here we meet the very first mask of Mephistopheles, the Iron Hound. Now this is a perfect one-to-one parallel to the psychological concept of the id. It's not about some complex, mustache-twirling evil. It's about that raw, unspoken engine of desire. It's that voice deep in your gut that just says, I want. Okay, so this is the crucial point. The hound doesn't create your desires. It just gives them a leash and points them in a direction. It unleashes all the wants that you've kept chained up. And in doing so, it shatters the performative sanity of your nice, well-ordered museum.
Now, once that raw hunger is unleashed, chaos isn't far behind. And the next mask, it isn't a beast. It's something far more subtle and honestly way more dangerous. It's a voice of reason.
Mephistopheles now puts on the mask of the courtier, which maps directly onto the ego. You see, the ego is that part of your psyche that tries to manage the id's chaos to find a rational path forward. And this is where the bargain gets struck. The courtier doesn't threaten you with fire and brimstone. No, that's too simple. Instead, he flatters your intellect. He makes self-destruction seem like a perfectly logical, even a brilliant choice. It is the ultimate manipulation, turning your own reason against you. And right here, this is the pivot point of the whole journey. The very tool you use to navigate your world, your logic, your ego, suddenly becomes the instrument of your own undoing. And this leads us into the deepest, most treacherous part of the descent. And now, for the final mask. This one is the most insidious of all, because it doesn't sound like a devil. It sounds exactly like your own conscience. The third mask is the judge, this inverted halo. And it's a terrifying reflection of the superego. See, the superego is your inner moralist. Mephistopheles hijacks it. He weaponizes your own sense of virtue and guilt until it becomes this force of pure self-torment. And this is the result, a three-way civil war inside your own soul. The id wants what it wants, the ego tries to negotiate a deal, and the superego condemns everything. The left hand has absolutely no idea what the right hand is signing, and you're caught right in the crossfire. This internal war actually creates its own internal landscape, what the source material calls the geometry of the grotesque. This isn't a physical place, mind you. The 10,000 hells are just all of your accumulated unspoken truths. The Valley of Shadows is where you suddenly see the hidden motives behind every single action, and the uncanny mirror that forces you to see yourself with no filter, no escape. So what happens when that pressure just becomes unbearable? When the id, the ego, and the superego are locked in this death grip? Well, something's gotta give. Something has to break. And this, right here, is the great secret of the entire journey. That breaking point, it isn't your destruction, it's your liberation.
The cracking of these masks, the hound, the courtier, the judge, that's the exact moment the real you can finally come out.
And from those broken pieces, a new synthesis is born. You learn to reconcile with the structure of the world, you integrate that necessary friction from your own shadow, and you hold it all in the light of a higher, unconditional truth. You become whole.
And here's the final outcome. That internal hell, the grotesque, it doesn't feel alien anymore. It actually feels like home, because you've stopped lying to yourself. You've traded the comfort of the museum for the solid ground of absolute honesty. You're no longer a performer. You're an honest witness. And the journey ends here, not with some celestial choir or a grand reward, but with a simple, stark, and unbelievably powerful reality. You, alone, in a fully lit room. No more shadows, no more masks. Just pure, unveiled self-awareness.
And that leaves us with the final, holy question. Once you've seen yourself completely, once the masks are gone for good, the real work begins. The journey is over, but the vigil has just started.